We are watching MC Online TV, and today we are lucky to have the Regional Director of Ghana Education Service. What he is going to help us to deliberate a little concerning BEC, because this Monday, 7th, is the day the whole Ghana we are writing BEC. A latest statistic from Ghana Education Service, September 1st, 1987, is a date we started writing BEC in Ghana. That shows that we have a long way to go. Before we start writing the BEC, that shows that we have a little information. The first graduate who wrote the BEC is from 1990. Now, when we look upon the total figures in which they are going to write the BEC this year, for the central region, we have 22 districts in the region, which comprises with 1,393 public schools, 988 private schools. Together, both private and public, we have 2,381. Now we have 221 centers in the region. That comprises the public registered candidate is 52,949. So, Director Emmanuel Essuman, he is going to help us to deliberate more to see the total number in the region, whether they are prepared, securities, the teachers, and the whole of it. So, Director Emmanuel Essuman will help us. My name still remains Omar bin Abdullah. You are watching MC Online, Woso KB. Director, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Please, how are you?
I'm fine, by the grace.
Well, thank you very much for accepting our request. Director, today is the day for the BEC. In total, let's see so far the preparation towards the students as well as the teachers and the centers. How do you see it?
Thank you, and once again, good morning to my cherished viewers and all those who are watching us across the country. Yes, like you rightly said, this is a yearly activity that students who pass through the system, every year they have to exit the system. And before you exit, we write exams. And the preparation starts from the beginning of the JHS. So we've been preparing them, the student conscientizing them that at the end of the third year, they will write. So that preparation starts from there. And again, when they are about to write the BEC, we have a national sensitization program where we meet various stakeholders in connection with the writing of BEC. So we meet and sensitize the students themselves, the do's and don'ts of the BEC, how they should comport themselves in tackling the answers without wasting time on one particular question. Again, we meet the parents and also sensitize them their role, how to provide the basic needs. Again, we prepare their minds not to depend on any foreign material. They should allow the student to write their exams on their own. Everybody that matters in the examination, including the teachers, the supervisors, and the invigilators. So these are the preparation we do for the BEC. And again, WAEC also has to write to the police service to provide them security. So every center, the minimum security may be 2, depending on the size of the center or the number of students writing or candidates writing the exams. So if you ask me about the preparation, there has been enough preparation. And today they are starting. We have officers all over the country also monitoring, ensuring that the measures we put in place, we are following the. So we have officers from the headquarters, GES headquarters, myself and my team. Already, most of the officers, when you came, we don't have them here. They are on the ground. And then after this meeting, we are also going around. Everybody matters. We are going to monitor and ensure the measures we put in place for this BC is done.
Right. There is a concern the total number of students in which they are going to write the exams in the region. We have blind union, we have deaf union. Have you and your team prepare accurate enough for them to also have their share in terms of examination, right?
Yes, please. But this year we have 55 candidates from this special student with disability. So 55, that is 25 boys and 30 girls across the region. And then these types of disability, we have low vision, those with low vision, autism, cerebral palsy, dysgraphia, hearing impaired. There are 8 different, and all this with make preparation. Those who need large print and additional time, we've make preparation for. So WAEC has provided all these special papers for these special people with special needs. So the officer in charge is even at some centers helping those with recorded and the signs to help the students write. So we've made provision. And then let me give this special additional information that it is the first ever that we have inmates from the Ankafo prisons. 4 of them also writing this year. They are all males. In fact, I asked of their ages, but I don't have that figures now. But the news is that we have 4 males from inmates from Ankafo prisons also writing BEC for this year 2023. And they are writing at the WAEC Center.
Now, so far as you are giving the visual impaired, the total number in the region, they are going to write the exams. Can you take us through maybe the total sum in the region, as well as the boys, girls, how many centers do you have, and the rest? Can you take us through?
So, like you rightly said when you did your introduction,
yes.
Yeah, we have public and private.
Yes.
But BEC, we sum them together. So the public, we have 52,949, like you rightly said, made up of 26,676 boys, and then the 26,273 girls. Then the private, we have 7,417 boys, and then 7,661 girls, made up of 15,100. So when you sum up together, this year we have 68,049 candidates writing, made up of 34,113 boys, and then 33,936,000. And then this is about 10% increase of that of last year. Last year we have about 61,000. Over 61,000 who sat for the BC. This year, it has increased to 68,049 candidates. So that is the increase about 10%, about 10% for this year.
Our regional director is telling us many increment, or the increment, maybe 10% of 10% increment concerning the last year. That is coming from the regional director, Emmanuel Essuman. We will go a short break, then when we come back, we will continue the rest of the question. right, we are back. My name is Omar bin Abdullah. We are with the Regional Director of Ghana Education Service, Central Region. Director, let's continue. At first, when we start writing this examination, we start with English and mathematics. Now, do you have a little change concerning the first subject today?
Yes, Mr. Oman.
Yes, please.
Today, they are starting with RME in the morning. So, in the afternoon, they will continue with the English language. Every day, they will write 2 papers. So, tomorrow, we have integrated science and Ghanaian language.
Okay.
Then Wednesday, we have social studies and the BDT. So, Thursday, we have mathematics and ICT. Then Friday, we have French. So that is the trend for this year. In fact, the WAEC has their own way of giving the timetable. So we only have to comply with the timetable provided by WAEC. So this is how this year we are going to go according to the papers the candidates are going to write from today till Friday.
Thank you. But today and Friday, that's what the candidates are going to write. That let's continue. Always, every year, after examination, we had our examination malpractice, leakage, report, and tests. How sure that this year we have heard that the Ghana Education Service have put good measures, strong measures. How sure that this after examination, no malpractice, no apple, no leakage?
Thank you. That is our hope. And like I said from the beginning, we've given enough sensitization and education to both students or candidates and every stakeholder that matters. Before this, today, all across the communities within where we have our schools, there has been a sensitization program indicating or telling the parents they need to turn away from this exam malpractice. Sometimes you see parents being involved in or assisting their candidate for getting this. So we've educated them that they let the students write on their own because they have that confidence. The teachers have prepared them enough to not depend on any foreign material. And again, among the measures put in place to ensure that we limit or do away with exam malpractice, like I said, we have supervisors and invigilators, and then again monitors from headquarters, regional, district level to go and monitor and ensure that students don't depend on any or don't involve in any examination malpractice. So if you ask of the measures put in place, I can assure you that GES, including the Ministry of Education, we have every measures to ensure that students don't involve in exam malpractice.
Let's see, 36 years since we started the BEC, right? From 1987, the first batch maybe started in 1990. So can we say the Ghana Education Service, WAEC, we have improved in terms of doing the arrangement for the examination for the student?
Yes, it's obvious. If you look at the data that we as you mentioned, from 30 years today, the number of enrollment keeps changing, increasing, and this is one sign that there has been improvement. Again, I think last year they started decoding system where not only WAEC has a system to detect whether students copied during the examination. So there has been a series of measures that has improved the system. And if you look at the performance, always there's improvement. I can't give you the exact figures now, but there's been a trend of improvement in the student performance with regards to BEC.
But we have heard that after this BEC, that's the last BEC that you are going to write. Ghana Education Service have been changed their syllabus, whatever. Can you brief us a little why this is the last BEC?
Yes, the GES is going through a series of transformation. So we've changed the syllabus from objective curriculum to standard based curriculum. So meaning that we want the student to be self-dependent, to be able to compete with other countries or be globally competitive, to be critical thinking. So it's not the issue of objective where we only interested in the performance, where students chew, pour, pass, and forget. But we want them to be practical, innovative, to be creative, to be problem-solving candidates. That's why we are trying to ensure that because of the presentations, the assignments that they do, they can be able to shine away from this objective curriculum where only the theory aspect that the children go through. But this time we want them to be purely practical of the things that they learn.
That's a pure practical, as you are saying. When you check Ghana Education Service Act of 1961, that's the introduce a free compulsory basic education. That's passed. Now we came to BEC, right? Now we are going to change. This keeping changing of education sector, will it help in terms of improving quality students in Ghana?
Yes, thank you. It's obvious. The world itself is changing. When this, like you said, this BEC started, there wasn't any enough, let me say, even if there were some computers, but things have changed.
Yeah.
Now we are in the technological world. Now children are using phones, tablets, so we should change the system to suit the current needs. If we don't change and we go by the old system, then we will be left behind. So whilst the system is changing globally, then there should be a change that will fit our children into the global world. Now children are, in 2020 we had this pandemic of COVID. By then there wasn't any kind of virtual teaching. But as a result of that, now we are off the whole country, we've embraced that technology where in some seminars and workshops, they are done virtually. And we have some universities, not some, all the universities started online lecturing. So the system globally is changing. That's why we are trying to, not just for fun, but because globally the world is changing, then GS must also fit into this system whereby we change the system of the teaching, the development that we want the children to be, so that globally they can compete.
Globally, they can compete. That's what the director is telling us. Director, let's shift a little, coming back to the arrangement in which some of the students are maybe camping in a particular school to write. It's a taboo for a school to camp students in terms of they are going to write their BEC results.
And it's a taboo. The issue is WAEC has its system, okay, whereby they will provide a center depending on the number of candidates within that particular district or zone. So we can't have centers for every school, depending on the number. So this results in that there should be the kind of zoning the students or the schools. So maybe within the district, we have maybe 5 centers for a particular district. You understand?
Yes.
So the schools may be more than 5, but because the WAEC has the system of grouping the student, maybe not less than 200 students for a center for monitoring and other purposes. You understand? So for the whole region, the enrollment, the statistics that I gave, we have over 68,000 candidates. But out of these 68,000, we have only 221 centers. So if we are to give every school center, we have over 2,399 JHS schools. It means that we are going to have 2,000 for every school, 2,393 centers. It will make the work and the system very, very difficult. So for that matter, we have to zone the schools in such a way that every center will have a sizable number that we can monitor and control well. And you can also understand that if we are going by the 2,399, look at the security, the invigilators, the monitors. That will make the system very, very difficult.
That's what the regional director is telling us. Director, let's see, still now talking on the centers issue. The Parents Association in every school doesn't know WAEC, they don't know much of Ghana Education Service. When we talk about putting a center, giving the school a center, it depends on Ghana Education. That's all what the parents will tell Ghana Education Service. Now, for example, AAK Abra Sedu Kwamankesi, the district. Now, look at where the Agri Memorial School is, and look at the Mori. But Mori, some of the basic schools, they have their own centers in the community. No movement, comfortability is there. But look at Mori to Agri Memorial. It's a short distance. Why don't you move the scale, but providing them or approve with their centers? But some of them, or some of the students, maybe get 2 cars, maybe 4 miles, 3 miles before they go to the center. But providing some of them.
Like I said, this is not a new thing. It has been even before we moved from the middle school to the BEC level. That has been the system. So WAEC, what I will say is that WAEC has the way of, in examination, you have to control to avoid the other malpractice and other issues. Yes, so they have a system whereby they zone the district and then the region. Definitely some has to move. Again, we are also looking at the centers, where we can have access to a bigger hall. You understand? In fact, when I was informed, WAEC used to have an examination hall. So during the examination, A level, O level, we have to all move to that examination hall so that they have a system to monitor every activity concerning the examination. So that system, for instance, if they move to Agri, they have a bigger hall that can contain more than only Mori, the schools in Mori, than other schools. So that's why we are having, out of over 68,000, we are having only 221 centers for this. So we can't have center for every school community, like I said. One to control the examination, and then for other purposes. So we group them or zone them according to the WAEC own system to suit the examination because it's an international, it's a West African examination council. You understand? It's not only Ghana writing. So there's so that is what I can say. So it's not the issue of the travel. As for traveling, whatever happens, some schools may travel. In case, for some reason, some schools have lesser enrollment. Some have 10 candidates for a school, particular school. Some have 6. Some private schools have even 4. You understand? So for 4, we can't. So we have to organize in such a way that about not less than 200 candidates will be a particular center. So it's less than 200 or more will be a center to make the examination very successful.
That means some of the people can director, or a regional director, and the main one, the papa. I said, as I'm going to come home, move phone, and then the I mean, I do, or mouth enough that my battery director in office, film for the man to me in a woman's shop and job paying all that in a no. A paying Emmanuel Essuman, and if you come on. Awful, also, as maybe some, a Sunday there. It's as if there were more for one on the center where community, nephew Mori, other bar again. Director Nina, and Sophie, a wire for one share with Moya. I want to go to my approve of Bibiara. Into the Biara, man, send a mistake and catch it all. Director of the Mori from an answer, so I'm a Mori for a name, yet she share with more away. There was out tomorrow, and then to take out tomorrow to 2 years. I will bomb as if my phone tomorrow from say. Such a chef as a water more actually to me to the that was actually him actually there. You sure, oh yeah, Bambon Sama, Ghana Police Service, I want to go to Bambo, and ye crano. You call your sentence Biara, you put me police for being another quick. Never one bahar about it, I am a from now. Should they be on the Ghana Education Service away, draw oil woman, and go to the police in 2 son and no pistol son no what was the center. I said, now I am from who ye and in sinner, what to know about Bibia, so it to me. I could go to the teachers who have a mother with me in our crack, never would do pension. Young quiet director, a young double film for mountains in Terry. Nemo, Naja, other machine for mountain or super. Sir, me need to come on phone that the first time you need to come, Mukunda, my brother paid I made about the year to my. Send I walk a count tomorrow, me what youngest Angus are. I MC online TV. Your boy, I hear regional director and about it. Sending you Biara, never call or now, so you're going to my dad to me there. Crampo whom then. Wakati na brand office na yini bizun kuma ende ya bobo bi baka ya bobo stampede wa ibi an office I bi an kwamba director ya hijack na so ibo so rakọ afutu hia ntro of bi to be pay for kitchen there what to find it be to go today ama from the bar na etu na etu na na akai e sana ko director ho na ma hina afutu ma fo ma ocho nso he awofo ho yem chichi wan bita ma chi bi mi ka wutu mutu ma fo na ma akoma etu afutu a director to me na etu ya kwa afu na and this is a meeting that yeah, meeting that acronym. Ankasa. It's a young mom as in if you offer to be. You turn a more about him now. Abwa. The NBBI so about Mazet to put acronym. It's echo or a young regional director. Opay Emmanuel Essuman. Yeah, okay. Afuti director. Advice is very, very important. What advice are you going to give to the teacher, the students, as well as the parents who are suffering in terms of their students writing the exam?
So, thank you, Mr. Umar.
Yes, please.
I'm also very happy for coming, for making this opportunity for me to advise my students, candidates, and teachers, and then the entire the Central Region people. The major advice I have is, this is not the first time we are writing BEC. And you likely, rightly said, it's over 30 years now. So the teachers have done their part. And it's today that the children are going to write. We believe and trust our teachers that they've prepared them enough. So the parents should calm down and allow their candidate to write, their children to write. They will write. It's as normal class exercise that they do. The mock that they've done is part of. This also goes to the students themselves. Today is 8:35. They are already at the centers. I want to assure them they should calm down. They should have confidence in themselves. They can write. It's not difficult. So they should calm down. Then the teachers and other stakeholders, please, let's allow the students to write the exams. They can do it. Let's avoid any involvement in exam or practice by helping them to send any foreign material into the exam hall. But one of the measures WAEC put is no candidate should send mobile phone into the examination room. And then if you are caught, not only the paper you are writing that will be cancelled, your entire papers will be cancelled. So please, this is advice to the both parents and everybody that matters. Those who always try to assist, want to assure you, we've already prepared them. We've given them all that the candidate need to be able to write, pass and pass well. So I wish this year, 2023, we are going to have DEC without any exam malpractices. So that at the end of this period, from today to Friday, not only Central Region, but the whole Ghana will come out boldly to say that this year's exams have been very, very successful without exam malpractice. So that is the advice I have for everyone. I thank you very much for listening, and I believe you are going to assist and support me in achieving this aim, having BEC without exam malpractice. Thank you.
Thank you to our regional director, Mr. Emmanuel Essuman. He has given a lengthy advice to the parents, the students, as well as the teachers are preparing now. Now, every student have two names. When you enter a school, you will call by a name a student. If the teacher is not called you by name, student, then you will come. Then after students, you will graduate to a candidate, so far as you have registered. So after the candidate, you become an old boy or old girl. From old girl, you enter a senior high school, another name, student. Finishing the school, candidate. That's Ghana Education Service. We have a lot of names. So, Director, I'm in a few people. Name of Yanshan is so there. Zawaki be a Yajuma. Director, you have a I did be a bed for India. A baba. A busy watching papa, a bokon cousin. Nephew to me down, aboa would meet to be a little reason. Name say, Action suffering a baba and Thomason. I answer you. And say, a pretty time biara, Action suffering, why one more to be able to meet biara, the parable do, my kind of me out to move. One more tomorrow too. It's about that. Original directors. The Bokodo ya Bonaba the Shonkopa, though I didn't away too. Maybe Yaba Abaka and Sa. The minister, I need me free now. In Can Piaro, or ya Rebecca, no so about as papa. No, or ya examination officer, regional examination officer, a parent Richard, the Beodia, no say the Wasi, Ankasangasa. Fima, if you are MC online, TV, Iba, or maybe I love you to bear, no so Oscar or channels, Biara. No se very nice papa de to ese one benefit bitum na ehwe ahen kodo na hwe oye MC online TV bibiara hidden sampa na yen zamapa bitum za abre wonwa ye mo wonwa onko dizida ye mo wonwa to no wiranko bibiara wonwa na nyo baji mezo no koten ye Omar bin Abdallah oye otum follow ne pa be foforo be san ye hye oye abirpam na efi otum na ya mo hoduma pa bye bye.